Yeah, the new student, did you people catch what we did? Is it clear? Madam, is it clear? Okay. Who else? Okay. So can we continue? Can you guys see me on the screen? Okay. Okay, welcome back. Let's continue. So I'm gonna quickly share my screen so that we can continue. Okay, so we looked at building out a simple HTML page, which will explain what it does. So we're going to connect a CSS to this our HTML and try to see how we can use CSS to make HTML page to look better. We said that HTML shows the structure of the web page, whereas CSS customizes the appearance and makes it look better. Is that clear? So let's connect a CSS. Now quickly hover over this your folder HTML and CSS, and you are going to see new folder. That's what we're going to be using, new folder. So click on new folder and name this new folder CSS, because this is going to be the folder that will contain your CSS file. It's always good you do what we call division of concern whenever you're designing your web page, especially when you're using HTML and CSS. You understand? Make sure you create a folder, call it CSS. Then all your cascading style sheet files will be stored inside that folder. Then if you're going to be having images, create another folder, call it images. You understand? Then make sure that all your image files are saved inside there. So I'm going to also quickly click on new folder, and I'm going to name it images. So I now have two extra folders. Oh, sorry, you see, this is a mistake. Make sure you don't make this mistake. So I'm going to click on these images and I'm going to say delete, because this images is created inside CSS. In order not to make this mistake, make sure you click on the HTML CSS. I hope nobody is tampering with my okay. So please, I'm gonna come up again. Okay, so while my VS Code boots up, I don't know what made it to shut down. We're always gonna be writing exercises after each practice. So make sure you're following up. Make sure you have all your installations done. If you check through our videos, you're gonna see how you can install VS Code and make other installations. Okay, so this is the HTML that I have. I'm gonna click on this folder. This is the folder we're working on. So we just created this CSS folder. So I'm gonna click on new folder so that I can create the images folder. So all my images are gonna be on images, then all my CSS are gonna be on CSS. Okay. So in order to connect this, I'm gonna create some things more, some content. So I'm gonna just come below this and I'm gonna say H1. I'm gonna use the H1 tag and I'm gonna say home page. So once I do that, I can do Control S to save this. Then when I get to my browser, I should be able to see my website. So let me refresh. Okay, this is no longer connected. I get back. I'll right click and say open with live server. Okay, so you can see my home page is very bold because I enclose it in H1 tag. Now, if I get here back here, and instead of putting H1, I put H3 instead of H1. So H1 is the biggest. So I'm going to say Control S to save. You can see my home page is now smaller. So you can have this header tag from H1 to H6. So if you check the assignment, the text quiz that I gave you, you will see where they wrote whether we can have H8. Please, you cannot have H8. You can only have from H1 to H6. So let me put this as H2 because I want it to be a little bit bigger than what it is now. So once I'm done, I'm going to do Control S. So you can see this home page. Why is it big and bold? Because I put it inside the header tag H2. Are we clear on that? So I'm going to create another content and I'm going to call it the paragraph tag or call it the P tag. So P tag, you can simply write something and I'll say, this is the home page for Austin's travel agency for tour and hotel booking. So I'm gonna say Control S to save. Then when I get back, you can see this, the line in my paragraph tag. This is the homepage for Austin's travel agency for tour and hotel booking. You can also see this is my first HTML, which is the first one I wrote down here. So what break does is that it gets it to the next line. So I'm gonna quickly come to this next line and insert an image. Then you say SRC, image with the source. So the source of this image, I'm gonna call it pic1.html .jpeg, sorry, JPG. So that is the source of my image, pic1.jpg. But do I have this image pic1? So I'm gonna go fetch an image and put it in the same folder as I have here. And I'm gonna make sure that I put it under this images folder. So I'm gonna go to my computer and look for where I have images. So I'm gonna go to pictures, then under pictures, so go and fetch an image from your system. So I think I have some images under my documents. And desktop folders. So this is where I'm clicking on it. You can actually drag and drop this image here, but I want to right click and copy this image. So when I copy it, I'm going to go to the desktop, which is where I have my folder. So this is my desktop. Then I go to HTML and CSS. Then inside HTML and CSS, I'm going to go into images. Can you see images here? Then I'll paste that folder, I'll paste that image there. Then I'll make sure that I rename it with the name that I gave it on my editor. And the name is what? Pic1. So make sure it is named as Pic1. So I must also make sure that it's a JPG file. So this is Pic1. So it's now under the images folder. So if I come to this, my images and click now, I should be able to see this Pic1 here. So in order to refer to it, well, I'm supposed to write images / Pic1. So I will now save by doing Control S. So once I save, I should be able to see that picture. You can see the image is here now, but it's very big. So I'm going to resize it so that it will be what I want it to be. And in order to resize, I get back to my code. Apart from the attribute of SRC, there's another attribute known as width and height. So I'm going to give it, the image width is going to be, I'm going to give it 200, and I'm going to give the image height as 200. Then I'm going to do Control S to save. Then when I get back now, you can see that this image is small and cute. So that is how you bring in an image in your HTML by simply using image SRC equal to, then you give the reference where you have the image. So if I didn't put this image in this folder images, I would have not put this here, but I'm putting this because I already created an image folder and referred to that. Okay. Now we're gonna do another thing. So this is what we are having now. And this is what we have as our what? Index.html. So we're going to learn how we can link up multiple pages together, which is typically what you see in a website. So to link up multiple pages together, I'm going to copy what I have here in my index.html by selecting all and saying copy. So I'm going to go to create a new file. So make sure that you're on the same place that you have your index.html. Click on new. So once you click on new, I'm going to create another file known as contact us.html. Then I press the enter key. So you can see it's a new file. What I already copied, I'm going to do Control V to paste it. So instead of home page, I'm going to simply change this home page to what? Contact us page. So that is the page. And I'm going to change the color. The home page is having yellow. So I'm going to change this color to gray. Then I'm going to save this. So how do I link up this page to the first one? That's what we're going to learn. So quickly get to your index.html. Then just below where you have your Austin's travel, we are going to write the link page. And what is the link page? We simply put this and say href. We say a href equal to. We put the link. We want to link, first of all, we'll make the link for this index page. So we're going to call it index.html, just the same name that it has. So that's the first. So we're going to call this in capital letter home. So this same link page, I'm going to copy it and paste it just below the first one. But instead of index.html, I'm going to call it contact us.html, just the way we have contact us here. Then in place of home, I'm going to say what? Contact us. So I'm going to save this and I make sure that I copy it exactly the way it is here and put on the contact us page so that I can refer to the two pages. So I'm going to copy this, get to our contact us page just under this, the same way I put the other one. I'm going to paste it there and I'm going to save. So once you now get back to your website, you're going to see we have home and we have contact us, but there's a mistake here. So I'm quickly going to check it out and find out what my mistake was. Okay, here I needed to put the anchor brackets. Okay, so I'll save, get to my index and do the same. Make sure you put the anchor brackets here. Then you do what? Save. Then when you get back to your website, you can see that it's now having link. So when you click on contact us, it takes us to the one that has a gray background. When you click on home, it takes us the one that has a yellow background. So that's how you can make links connecting different web pages in your website. Your website is supposed to have different web pages. So this is web page 1, index.html. This is web page 2, contactus.html. Okay. So we are going to create another page and we're going to call this page services, where we can show our services. So to do that, I'm going to simply also what? Copy this very one. Then once I copy it, I go to HTML and CSS. You can see where I am. Click on new file. So I'm going to call this file services.html. Then I press the enter key to open up here. I'm going to paste it here. So in place of home page, I'm going to now change this to what? Services. So that's the name of the page now. Okay. And for us to do that, we are changing to another page. I'm going to change the background color to blue. Okay, so I'm gonna now save. So to link it up, I'm gonna create another link here. You can see that I have two links. I'm gonna copy this link, come down here, paste it. Then in place of contactors.html, I'm gonna save it with exactly the name that I have for it, which is what? Services.html. Then in place of this capital letter contactors, which is what's gonna appear, I'm gonna write in capital letter services. Okay, then I'm gonna Control S to save, then copy this very line of link and make sure that I put it on the other pages, which are the contact us page. Then I do Control S to save, make sure you save, and the what? Index page. Then I do Control S to save. So when I come back here now, I can see I'm now having 3 tabs. So if I click on this one, I'm gonna have a blue background. This one is gonna give me gray background, and this one is gonna give me yellow background. So I now have 3 pages which I can now change to get me to where I want to be in. Okay. So under our services page, we are going to introduce another form of element, HTML element, and that element, we'll call it the list element. So to write the list element, you're going to use the angle bracket and say UL for unordered list. Make sure it's in small letter UL. Okay, and it's going to have what we call list elements. So what is going to be the list elements? So what services do we offer in Tclassified? We offer software development because we can develop software for you. Okay, let's continue with our travel agency. Let's not divert. So we can be offering Uber services. If our customers want to be on Uber, we should be able to offer Uber services. Then we should also be able to, apart from Uber services, we should be able to render what we call hotel booking. Can book hotels. Then we can also render another form of service. What other services? Tour. Tour. If you want to tour South Africa, we can help you tour South Africa. So I can do Control S to save, so that when I now go to my services page, I can see this list. Can you see this list? So you're able to see this list with dot dot because it is what we call on orders list. If you make it ordered list by changing that U to O, then you come here, change the U to O, then you have what we call ordered list. So I'm gonna say Control S to save. Then when I get back, you can see ordered lists have things like 1, 2, 3, but on ordered list has a dot or any sign. Okay, so we've been able to learn how many tags now: the link tag, the image tag, and the list tag, both the ordered and unordered list. So I'm going to sign off again and let all of you be on the same page before we can continue. Remember, everything you want is in Christ Jesus. Easiest way to success is by being born again. So I'll connect back. Please make sure that you're on the same page with us. So in the next class that I'm joining, I will start developing this cascading style sheet that will connect to this and make it look more beautiful.